And welcome to Flightdeck Live, powered by SportBuff. If you go to sportbuffshop.com and use the code ALS, Flightdeck10 at checkout, you will save 10% off your first order. I'm Tim Capper, along with Cliffy D. Pine from Percival Molson Stadium, where just over 21,000 showed up to see the Alouettes beat the Eastern Division rival Hamilton Tiger Cats by the score of 31-18. Cliff, despite what the score shows, it really is indicative of what we saw tonight, because there was still a lot. There really was a lot to be desired when it came to the Alouettes offense, and at points, the Alouettes defense also.
Yeah, I'm going to try and choose my words very carefully here because, yes, a lot of people say a win's a win. I agree with that 100%. Everybody that we spoke to post-game said the same thing. You got the win, that's what counts. But also, too, what a lot of people were telling me was there's still a lot to get cleaned up on. There's still a lot of things to be worked at. And we're now into the second third of the season, and we're still seeing a lot of these mistakes. And they have to be aware of them. They have to be aware of what they're doing or what they're not doing. And yet it's still happening. I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results each time. And if that's the case, then this Montreal team is insane and not necessarily in the membrane.
No. It is a game where Davis Alexander's streak for consecutive pass attempts without interception had ended at 365. I think it was.
You put the stat out.
I know. I don't have it in front of me.
Jesus.
But I know. I tell you. But anyway, it was snapped. It was snapped.
And that was a pass too that, I'm sorry, Davis definitely should not have been throwing.
That wasn't Davis Alexander from 2026 that threw that ball.
No. And if we're being completely real here, and again, with all the respect in the
356.
world.
356.
Fine. If we're being completely real here, I just feel like this offense took the night off in a lot of ways. I understand it's construction holidays here in Quebec, and I'm sure a lot of people are off and don't have to go into work in the morning. But guess what? The Montreal Alouettes, they don't fall under that purview. They have to work. They had to work tonight to get the win. And again, the score is not indicative of what we saw there. What we saw throughout this game, the score very much flatters the Montreal Alouettes.
I think so too. And if you were to just alone, we're talking about flattering and stuff like that. The Owls at halftime, Cliff, had outgained that Tiger Cats 235-66. But yet, at that point, the Alouettes had only 10 points on the board.
Yeah, and Trey Ford definitely did not look like the Trey Ford that we've become accustomed to up until the end.
Correct.
He actually looked, I'll go so far as to say, okay, as far as quarterback goes. I mean, you're not going to replace Levi Mitchell so easily. That's painfully obvious. But I think Trey Ford, for the most part, I think he had to see what the Alouettes offense was doing. It's like, okay, just hang around. Don't make any mistakes. Hand the ball off when needed. He just had to take care of things, like be a game manager. And it's hard to believe, Tim, that being a game manager probably could have won this game for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Had a few miscues not gone Montreal's way.
Oh, 100%. The Owls were not, I said, despite that, the Owls had 10 points at halftime. It was 10-8 at halftime. And then it seems to be not necessarily a broken record, because as we've known, we've seen how the Alouettes over the past couple of weeks, Cliff, and it seemed to have gotten better where they are finally scoring in the third quarter and being able to not necessarily let teams back into the game. Right. But the problem is, though, too, and I don't understand what is going on at halftime. And maybe Noel Thorough can comment on it, or maybe Jason Moss can comment on it. But the Alouettes coming out, they got the ball the first half, Hamilton the second half. So out of the last 6 out of 7 games, Cliff, they've allowed an opening second half touchdown. Yeah. And as you know, that has gotten these teams back in, or like tonight, Hamilton was leading. Hamilton a few weeks ago, it got them right back into the game.
Yep.
Calgary, same exact thing last week.
That's the thing. You can ill afford to let any team in the Canadian Football League hang around. Even teams that right now are kind of going through some hard times, like the BC Lions and the Ottawa Red Blacks, who, by the way, the Montreal Alouettes will be playing this coming Friday at Percival Molson Stadium West.
Going for
you simply cannot let teams like this hang around, especially teams of caliber like the Calgary Stampeders and, yes, even the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Even without Levi Mitchell under center, this team is not going to go away anytime soon. And if you're going to make mistakes, they're going to capitalize on them. And more often than not, I really felt at times Montreal was playing yes, it felt in a lot of ways Montreal was playing not just against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but against the officiating crew, which, by the way, I got to call some people out here. Ben Major and his crew tonight, some of these penalties that were called or even not called, absolute garbage. Yeah, I'm sorry, and I don't want to come across as a homer by saying that. I'm just calling it as it is. If the shoe was on the other foot,
we can't get fined. By the way, we can't. So continue.
You know what? You're right. And it's like these guys can't get fined. These guys can get fined, so they're obviously not going to say anything. They're going to be very careful with their words. I don't have to worry about that. So guess what? This officiating crew, I really feel it was doing everything they could to get Montreal, back in the loss column. And simply put, Montreal was playing against 3 teams tonight: the Hamilton Tiger Cats, the Replay Center, and the Zebras.
We're going to joke, by the way. The Owls still did cover.
They sure did. How about that? If you got that -11, you were probably sweating throughout the game, or maybe even tore up your ticket. I hope for your sake you didn't, because when it was all said and done, maybe -11 wasn't such a crazy money line.
I will admit tonight, Cliff, because obviously we saw with Davis. Davis was... I've used the word mediocre. Somebody else that has used other words. It just didn't seem to be Davis Alexander from 2026 that played tonight. Davis only threw for 187 yards. He was 21 to 29 for 187 yards. No touchdowns, 1 pick. It's usually the opposite way around, considering how well Davis has done. I don't understand what's going on. Now, it could have been, to be fair, Tyson Philpott was kept human tonight, despite it being his birthday.
Kept honest,
despite it being his birthday.
Absolutely.
We got to give props, I think, to how Hamilton came into this game and made sure that there wasn't enough target, that Tyson wasn't able to do what he normally does. But again, just in general, it just seems so odd tonight, coming from what QB1, QB Fun usually does. Just seemed off tonight.
Yeah, I guess, everybody's entitled to a bad day at the office. Like I said, maybe because of construction holidays, maybe you didn't think you had to show up for work today. But unfortunately you did, Davis. You had to show up. And okay, listen, he got the win. He did put Montreal in scoring position many times. Terry Wilson got to plunge for a couple of TDs today. So, I mean, that's...
Surprise, a switch from Dustin Crum, by the way, on short yardage.
Yeah, and a lot of people were even asking about that. Like, why isn't Dustin Crum getting into those second and short or 3rd and 1 situations, and said it's Terry Wilson? I think it really was just a matter of giving him those reps, giving him a chance to get himself out on the field and do some stuff. So again, props to him for that. As far as I know, there's nothing wrong with Dustin Crum. I think it was really just a matter of, okay, let's see what this guy can do. We brought him in for a reason. So let's see what's doing. Let's see what, let's see what Terry Wilson can do when given the opportunity. And look what he did. Aside from that one 3rd and 1 where he got stymied. Like, I think he was just trying to get a little too cute, trying to flush out to the...
He was trying to do his best Caleb Evans impression.
Well, if you're going to do a Caleb Evans impression, do the one where he's doing that, like, fadeaway jump shot into a touchdown. Do that impression.
Or get the first down. Or get the first down.
That's not too difficult, I don't think. Listen, look at me to tell. Too difficult enough.
No. Now, it's funny. You mentioned about this is what the Alouettes got this guy to do. Let's talk about Devontae Dedmon in his season premiere, very first Alouettes game here in 2026.
I got to say, when Devontae Dedmon was signed by the Alouettes in free agency, we thought, okay, losing James Letcher was tough. Who's going to be returning kicks? And sure enough, Devontae Dedmon, who, again, has had some injury issues, towards the end of his time with the Ottawa Red Blacks. And I was cautiously optimistic. Like, okay, maybe this guy can still do something. Let's see what he can do. And then he spent the vast majority of training camp on the injured list, started the season on the 6-game list, finally was activated tonight. And oh my, talk about worth the wait.
Oh,
he was sensational, quite frankly. I mean, he did not take one to the house. There was no house calls, but he definitely gave the Alouettes great starting position more often than not. Like, there's a few times where he brought the ball practically to midfield. I mean, at that point, you can't ask more from your returner than that. And, whether or not the Alouettes were able to take advantage of it more often than not, that's debatable. But still, Dedmon did what he was supposed to do. Dedmon did what he was brought in here to Montreal to do. Give the Alouettes great field position. And
there what you did.
Kind of like what we expected of Mario Alford when he was signed it's just a matter of time before he breaks one off, takes it to the house. Didn't happen with Mario, but I got a feeling that it's going to happen with Devontae and it's when, not if.
Yeah, exactly. And Devontae tonight was just, as I said, from the get-go, even though he didn't score one, he did it just an absolutely amazing job, giving the guys a little bit more of that necessary oomph that was, out from special teams and stuff like that. Did a great job tonight. Did set them up on a couple of drives to themselves. But, again, by the way, speaking of also, of guys we know who can do what they can do, 2 weeks in a row, Tice baby goes for over 100, and this time he breaks his record that he broke last week in Calgary. Travis Tice ran for 156 yards on the same exact amount, by the way, of rushes that he had last week in Calgary for 1 touchdown.
Wow. I mean,
and it was, by the way, that touchdown was that capper for the Alouettes tonight.
The kill shot, essentially, because again, you can go even at the 3-minute warning. It was still anybody's game at that point. Like Montreal was barely clinging on to the lead, but a couple of miscues by both teams, by the way.
Yes.
But somehow this game, there was a lot of hot potato going on with tonight. I don't know if it's because
it was odd.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because the temperature made the ball extra slick or something. I don't know, but yeah, it really felt like whoever had the ball last was going to win this game at times. And then all of a sudden, Montreal just kind of clicked, and they were very smart. I think Davis played it very well. Just ground and pound, keep feeding Tice, let him do what he does best. And look what the results were: 156 yards and a tutty. Okay, I ain't mad at that, and nobody in Alouettes Nation should be mad at that either.
No, and by the way, you're talking about slick ball tonight. Okay, first save. The first one was Tyson Philpott getting spun around after a catch and losing the ball, but yet him recovering the ball. And then there's the one for Travis Tice, where it was he was stripped of the ball and it was picked up by Nick Callender, which saved the Owls basically on both occasions, because as we know, Owls interception by DA and also that turnover on downs earlier in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just odd. It was just so odd tonight. But again, they still got the ball back. That was the good thing. They were able to retain the ball.
Sorry, I'm just looking for the full moon. Maybe that would explain what's.
Is it tonight? I know they showed it post game on the screen, but I don't remember.
They did actually. Yeah. So yeah, it was just.
Well, you're not changing into anything. So you're
no.
Okay, I don't think it's a full moon then.
No. Okay. All good.
If I were to change, I would tell you.
Don't change. I like you the way you are.
Oh.
All this to say though that. Yes, the Montreal Alouettes got the win. They definitely did some absolutely incredible things. Special teams, I felt, improved for the most part, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that, once again, just tackling, quite frankly, that was just, less than, hold on, we're getting the high sign, but...
yeah, it's going to be over. Sorry. We got told it's right now.
Come on, guy. Come on. I mean...
I'm sorry. We got told it's
You technically have been... we've been on the field just at an hour.
Yeah. That's fine.
So,
this is the end. Well, we got told this is the end. Now it's the time to leave.
Okay. Can we get 2.5 minutes?
No.
Just to finish, because we are live.
All right.
We are live.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, like, comment, subscribe. Unfortunately, we've been asked to cut this short, so make sure you tune in on Wednesday.
Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about, obviously. And if you miss any part of the broadcast, you can check it out on X, Facebook, or on YouTube. And you'll be able to hear more about it on the show on Wednesday. So for the final time here at Personal Stadium, over 21,000 showed up to watch the Owls beat the Tiger Cats. For Cliffy D, I'm Tim Capper. We'll talk to you soon.